Podcast starts at 19 seconds.
Welcome to a new episode of Fit the Description, a Black Men's podcast where various black men come together to talk about life, society, entertainment, culture, news, and whatever else we want to talk about from various black men's perspectives. I'm your host, G, and today we got B,
Up, y'all.
and we'll probably have others join in later. Now, with that being said, on your way in, make sure to subscribe or follow depending on your platform. If you want to listen to this podcast on the audio platforms, all the links are down below. Also, make sure to check out the Clips channel, Fit the Description Podcast, over there on YouTube. We also have an Instagram, which I really need to work on. My fault. But is opinion underscore Pete's underscore network. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Before I started recording this episode, I actually was finishing up working on the last episode. And I don't think you know, but because nobody showed up for the last podcast, I had to use an old episode. And the episode I had to use was from January of 2023.
Okay.
And I'm sure, that was, as of right now, that was a couple of years back. And it's
hmm
kind of funny because we were talking about crypto. And it's funny to hear the differences in how things were back then than where they are now. Even
Right.
if you listen to that episode, I even heard my old phone and I don't even have that anymore. One of the things that we were talking about in that episode was crypto.
hmm
And I'm like, things have totally changed because back then I was upset because basically the market crashed and I lost so much money.
hmm
And now I'm equally as mad because I haven't said this to anybody, but I actually wound up selling majority of my crypto because
Okay.
I lost so much money. And then I got upset because, no, my fault. I lost so much money. And then I also had some things I had to pay off. So I wound up selling majority of it. And now I'm upset because the market has went up. So I missed out on a major opportunity.
Mm.
So it's like back then I got screwed over because the market crashed and I lost so much money. And now I'm upset because the market has gone up and I sold too much of my crypto.
uh, don't be too mad yet. Went up a little bit, but it's still far from desirable. It's
Dude,
still.
I sold
Mhm.
right before Bitcoin hit $100,000 last year.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I screwed myself.
Oh man. Yeah, Chris, I'll sure love to buy some more right now. That's for sure.
Yep.
uh, but yeah, I have to wait for that one.
Yeah, right. I am
Mm,
I am not happy about that. I'm like,
mhm.
why? And it's so bad because I'm hearing James talk, and I'm just like, man, hearing him talk about it, and just like, man, what did he say? He said your crypto is worth like a nickel. I was like, what the? And now it's like I sold, and now my crypto is basically worth $1. And it's like, and I sold before that point is upsetting.
I don't think I would tell James that.
Yeah, I know, but it sucks, man. I'm just like, 'cause I'm looking at it right now. I'm literally on the internet right now, and I've seen the market going green, even though it was like red the entire time. And don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, I didn't sell it. everything,
Hmm.
but I definitely didn't make the like I still have it, but I'm definitely not gonna make the gains that I could have.
Gotcha.
If there's one thing I want to put out there, if anybody invests, don't ever be an emotional investor. I learned the hard way.
Exactly. No, man, please have some patience. Please have patience. Uh, because I lost out because I was impatient, or I bought when I or when you get too eager and you feel like you're gonna miss out, and you start buying when
Mm-hmm.
it started going up, and it's like, oh God. And then the minute you start buying, it starts going down again.
Oh,
And
see,
then I
okay,
was
see, so I messed up when I first got into crypto, which
like,
I don't know if I said on here, but I know you know about it,
mm,
where I went ahead and I sold a lot of my crypto,
mm,
thinking it was going to go down so I could buy more.
mm,
And I messed up because so I sold and I got scared after 2 days and bought back in,
mm,
and then it crashed. I'm like, dang it.
mm,
So if I would have just been patient for like 2 days and just would have kept that money and then bought back in, I would have got almost double of the crypto that I put in instead of like just panicking and just buying back in and then it crashes instead of just pulling it out, holding it for a couple of days, let it crash, and then buying back in because that was the plan.
I was understood buy low, sell high.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Yeah.
because like when I got in, I was buying high, you know, um, I bought a lot of coins. No, not like a lot like that. But there's some coins that I got for like $20,
Mm-hmm.
and then now it isn't even worth $5 at this point. You know, and it's like when I look back, I'm like, oh man, if I would have only known, especially when we was getting that $600 per week. Um, if I would have knew about buying low, selling high, I would have hold out on that money. Like kept that money well, I could have kept it on the card, but just do not sell. I mean, do not buy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been hard. Just do not buy. Just wait for the market to crash. If I would have done that, my the whole game would have been different at this point.
I think, especially when we first got in, I wish I would have dumped a lot more money into crypto
Mm,
because we got in. I know, like you, because we basically got in at the same time. We got in when things were like starting to go up, and if we would have just dumped a bunch of money in, we probably would have got really big returns. But
mm,
I know back then we were trying to learn about it, we were hesitant, and I'm like, that would have been the best time to go in.
mm. Oh yeah. Um, I remember that one guy was Shiba Inu. He put like he spent like $8,000, and he ended up becoming a billionaire.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of stories like that. So yeah, that guy. There's that one kid which I always talk about where he put in what is it, $20 into like a meme coin, like back when it started,
Hmm.
and then he wound up making like what's like either like 2 million or it's like $7 million. No, I think it was $2 million.
Nice.
Yep, because he bought in when it was like next to nothing, and then it blew up. So there was that dude, and then I'm sure you know what's it called, the Doge millionaire.
Oh yeah,
Where
yeah,
that dude
yeah.
took out a loan and put like $100,000 in, and he became which, from my understanding, because I actually read his post on Twitter. I think he said he's back up to a million again.
Okay. Oh, you didn't sell?
No, he didn't sell.
Oh,
Well, and
uh,
because remember everybody was telling him to sell, he didn't, and then the Dogecoin crashed and he wound up losing all his money. But it's back up again, so I guess he's a millionaire again.
okay. Well, I hope we don't make that same mistake.
All right.
Mhm. 'Cause, I would have immediately sold.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the hard part of like when to sell and when should you sell. But
Eh,
like like
hard.
like
Uh,
that's probably one
okay,
lesson I
sorry.
learned. That's probably one lesson I
Mm,
learned. It's not about you're never going to get the hit the top correctly.
correct.
So, when you get your point, because that's what happened. Like when you talk about buying at the top, I bought what you call it, Dogecoin at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I still haven't made my money back. That's one
No,
coin I do have because I'm not selling it till I get my money back.
right.
But I sold it, I think it was at 64 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And I buy 64 cents, think it was gonna like hit $1 and it crashed. I'm like, damn.
Right. And that's something else we gotta learn. You know, hey man, so it's good to just take profit sometimes, man. Just take the
Yeah.
profit.
At least take out
Yeah,
your initial investment. That's something else I learned.
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah, exactly,
whatever you
exactly.
put in, which I wish I would have tracked it better when I didn't track anything and I messed up. But that's one thing I wish I would have done was tracked and at least took out my initial investment because there were some of those coins that I definitely made money.
Hmm.
There's a lot of those coins that I definitely made money. If I would have just pulled out,
Hmm.
I at least would have got my money back and I wouldn't have been
Hmm.
in the hole that I'm in now.
Like, I went a few years ago when, like when things was good. There's some coins I wish I would have sold at that time. You know,
Hmm.
got a good amount of money and just reinvest into other coins. You know, and when I look back at them, I was like, if I just would have sold it, I, I would have been good right now. At least I would have had some solid, a solid portfolio underneath my belt. You know, if I just would have pulled that trigger, you know. But sometimes like I say, we wait for the long game, and not knowing that you could take money out when it's up, and you can always reinvest it back into that coin,
Yep.
you know, and you could have got it a lot cheaper than you initially paid for it, you
Hmm.
know. So it's been a learning curve.
But hold on. Before you make that point, I still got a couple of things I want to say.
Mm,
I need to figure it out. Is I want to learn how to trade.
right, I
That's
do
something.
too.
Yeah, that's something I don't know how to do well. But yeah, I know a lot of people have been making money in trading. So
Hmm.
the only issue is I think when you trade, the taxes are ridiculous. That's the only
Hmm.
problem. But I wish I knew how to trade because that would
Right,
have been nice.
yeah, same. And then I tried it before, but I didn't really understand. I didn't really understand it. So,
Oh yeah, I
uh,
did it. I lost like $20. So I didn't put much in.
hmm,
I was just trying to test it. Yeah, I lost everything.
yeah.
So yeah,
Uh,
that's something else I would like to learn is I like to learn how to trade.
hmm,
Um, what else have I learned throughout this entire process? Jeez. Like you said, yeah, I wish I would have bought into coins back. Well, technically I did. I actually bought into some really good coins.
hmm,
I made some really smart purchases just out the blue. Even with the meme coins, I made some pretty smart purchases. So
hmm,
I can't be too mad about those decisions if I would have kept it. There's a lot I didn't keep.
hmm,
But yeah, I definitely think I made like surprisingly, I made some really smart purchase. Shiba Inu was a great call for me.
hmm.
And because the thing is, I remember at that time I had a choice. What was it? It was either Shiba Inu or it was another one. It was two of those. And it was like I had to choose one. And there was four
Wasn't
things.
that the moon one or
No, no,
the
no, it
moon?
wasn't the moon one. It wasn't the moon one.
Uh, okay, okay,
Yeah, it wasn't that one. It was another one. It was another dog coin. I don't know
gotcha.
if it's Akita, but it's right. It was right when Shiba Inu because Doge blew up, and there was going to be another one. I was like, okay, which one do I want to choose? I'm like, okay, you know what? Because I forgot there was four. I wish I would have wrote it down, but there was four reasons why I chose Shiba Inu. One of the biggest reason was the community.
Hmm.
So I forgot there's four key pillars that I wish I could remember. What's the reason why I chose Shiba Inu? And Yeah, I got into that one early and I made, I'm not saying I became, I'm not saying I made like a bunch of money, but I did go from making, I did put like a couple of dollars in to going to a couple of thousand, to, well, yeah, yeah, to a couple of thousand in Shiba Inu.
Hmm.
And then I lost it.
Mm.
But yeah, that was a really smart purchase that I made. So
Mhm.
that's another thing I would say. They're right. Do your fucking research.
Oh yeah,
That's one thing
that's
I
what
would
I
tell.
got. That's another thing I just gotta get better at. You know,
Hmm.
I already don't put. I already don't put in the enough time into this like how I should.
Yep.
It's just too much information, honestly. You
Yep.
know, so much going on. It's just like, information overload. That's what I call it. Too much of that going on. You know, so oh man, yeah, man. I want to learn technology of these stuff too.
Yep. Oh, that's
Um,
another thing I would say too. Figuring out who to follow.
yeah, oh yeah. Especially if you have a know who to follow on Twitter because that's where everyone says everything is on Twitter,
Yeah.
um, or X now. It's just, I was got be active on X, and I never really got. I've been having a Twitter slash S account since 2009,
Yeah.
and I never got into it. And I never became part of any communities or nothing like that. I never got really attracted to it. You
I
know.
like the problem is I didn't know. I tried, but I just didn't know who to follow, and that's the thing. Like if you can know how to follow, it will help you out big time.
Hmm. Like I said, when I went on Twitter, looking at the crypto stuff. I don't know who's a scammer. You know, I don't know if this stuff is real. You see a lot of clickbait stuff, a lot of thumbnail looking images, but how do I know that's legit or not? How do I know this is not a bot? This is not a scammer. There's so many security questions that you have to ask yourself. You know, and the only thing I can think of is find one YouTuber or wherever and follow his following list. That's the only thing I can think of. But
Oh, that's one
yeah,
thing I will say.
mm-hmm,
That's how I got into one coin that helped me out.
mm-hmm,
But again, that's actually like now worth nothing. It pumped like $600 and now it's worth nothing. Was
mm-hmm,
watching those videos and listening to the particularly live stream,
mm-hmm,
listening to the community.
mm-hmm. Like the chat box.
Yeah, because so like I was watching a YouTube video, like a live stream, and one of the guys were talking to the community and they were talking about a specific coin. And then he looked it up. He said, "Okay, yeah, this looks good." I bought into it and made a couple of $100.
Mm-hmm.
But then I held it and it crashed.
Gotcha.
But I'm like, man, like that was a call just watching those live stream.
I feel like a lot of these communities they just be trolling too.
Oh yeah, of
And
course, of course.
and it's like, hey, can I get a serious community where people's actually spending real game here?
Oh, that's one thing I wish I would have figured out early on. I didn't
Mhm.
was pump fun.
Okay.
I wish I would have figured out pump fun before they took down the social media aspect.
Mhm.
I really regret that.
All right.
Right when they closed down the social media aspect, and if I would have known about that, if you would have followed that, that's how a lot of people made money.
Hmm.
And they shut it down because yeah, there was a lot of scamming and stuff going on. But I wish I would have known about that.
Hmm. Yeah, I have I didn't get into that one, so I already don't know much about it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well that's where like a lot of meme coins come from.
yeah.
that's where like people get in from the bottom and then they put like a couple of dollars in and it goes up to like a couple of 100,000. Is
Mhm.
when you're able to get in from like the beginning.
Right.
And that's especially now it's harder now than what it used to be.
Hmm. Well, I can say one thing I'm glad they get to, and that is NFTs. Man, I'm glad they put that much that I think I have some NFT, but I'm glad I didn't really put no investments into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something in NFTs,
Hmm.
but yeah, hold on one second. Okay, that's all I want to see. Okay, my fault. I just had to read something. So what we're saying, NFTs, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to NFTs, that's probably the one thing that yeah, I'm glad I didn't get into. I did get into them, but I couldn't figure out at the time how to buy 'em. I actually don't
Right.
actually I take it back. I do have some NFTs. I mean, they're not worth nothing, but
Right.
yeah, no, I do agree. I am glad I didn't get into NFTs like that because yeah, I probably would have lost a lot. And don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
there was potentials in NFTs. I still believe that there's potential I still believe that there's potential in NFTs, but
Hmm.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It needs to have functionality. It can't just be digital
Exactly.
art. Like it's really not going to work. I think there are still some that are working very well,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's not what it definitely ain't what it used to be. And that's why I said
Right.
like NFTs could work, but it has to have functionality.
Hmm. I think the NFT with the monkeys.
Oh
Where
yeah, oh my God, something eight.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, I forgot what it's called. Yeah.
yeah. Get out of here! Sorry, there's a fly that flew in my car. But yeah, yeah, something ate. But I think they was having real life utility where they was having clubs where you get shown on the ape coin, and you was able to get like discounts or something like that. Um, and that was cool. That was cool. I was like, okay, there actually is real world utility with this coin.
Yeah,
It
that
was,
should be.
it actually was like a club, a exclusive membership like thing. And
Yeah, it needs to do
um,
something like that where like maybe you get
mhm,
discounts at store if you have the coin.
mhm,
It's something where like there's functionality there.
right,
If it doesn't have functionality, then there's no point. But yeah, I think if it had functionality, even like a card game could actually work.
mhm,
You know, it just has to be good. I mean, I know there's card games already on the market, but none of them really stick.
mhm.
So, crypto gaming, I think it's a big thing that can happen. But the problem is that's the biggest issue with crypto is nobody there's not really any great tutorials on
Mhm.
how these
It's not.
coins work. Like they talk about it, but you don't really see too many people, you know, using it or how is you. That's the one issue with crypto is that there's no good like tutorial or no good video or anything on how these coins are utilized.
That, and I think just the technology in general, of crypto, people really don't understand it.
Yeah,
And
and there's nobody that's really explaining it well. Even people who are in
mm,
crypto, most of them are just investors, but they
right,
don't really
invest
under.
investors,
Yeah, the only people who I really see who really know crypto are people who are in there like or in like before the 2020s.
right,
Those are the only ones that really like understand. So they know they really understand and know the functionality. Everybody after that just looks at it as an investment and making money
right,
because there's nobody really there trying to explain how like the utilization for it. They do. That's the
exactly,
one thing I would say that crypto does a bad job at as an industry. They don't do a good job at all on explaining how to utilize their coin.
right,
The only ones that do a good job because it's very simple is like meme coins.
Correct.
They're the only ones. They're the only ones that do a good job. All these official coins do a terrible job at explaining themselves.
Right. But you me going there say he usually have no utility to it.
Exactly. That's why I
Uh,
say meme coins the only
uh,
one. Well, meme coins and Bitcoin.
right.
Everything else, like if I tell a person, oh, layer one, layer two, and then we go into each coins, and then like even the game coins, it's like, okay, well, where can I play these games? Like, there's none of that out there.
Exactly.
Like, there's no information. That's the problem. That's what makes it really hard to get into crypto is that there's a learning curve that they're not trying to fix.
Right. And like I said, also the platforms, like I said, they're not making the like I said, crypto games. They're not making phone applications where everyone can just download it and have access to play the game. You
Well, they don't
know,
even promote. They don't even promote the games. They don't even promote it correctly either.
not exactly.
Like they do a bad job. Like they promote it to like more like crypto guys, but like in a scientific, but but they don't really promote it in like a fun way. So
Exactly.
the one I felt like that did it right was it was a Cardano coin. No, it was a Cardano network test, and they were doing
Right.
a Doom tournament.
Hmm.
But even then, it's like no, I mean they did a pretty good job, but it still wasn't great.
Right.
And that's the issue I find with a lot of that's the thing I find with crypto. I just think they have an issue with marketing, like as an industry. Like, I mean,
Right.
it just it's not even market, it's just the understanding of it.
Right.
Like when okay, I don't know if you heard, but the Staples Center's back.
Oh, okay. I was surprised I didn't hear nothing about
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Well, okay.
Yep. The Staples Center is back. But yeah, like crypto.com, I mean, yeah, I mean crypto.com bought the arena, but what was it?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
I mean it's an exchange, but I mean what can you use the crypto coin for? Like there's I mean, okay, I mean I won't say that's kind of a bad example of what I just said, but I will say this is that nobody really knows like they don't do a good job at explaining these things.
Hmm.
the the gaming crypto does a crap job at explaining their games, how to get into it, how to like they don't do a good job. And not only that, the thing that they have to do too is if they really wanted to like blow up, they can't go for these higher graphical kind of things. They have to because going into like high-end gaming is expensive for most people.
Right.
So you need to have like baseline games that can run on slower computers.
Correct.
That are fun and that are repetitive. But again, I just like that's when I also say like crypto gaming just does a really bad job. Even the metaverse does a really bad job at really like explaining themselves or helping people to understand what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. And I'm talking about
Yeah, no,
bad.
they do a really bad job at that. Like one, it's really bad.
And then, or if someone actually do knows that they put it behind a paywall,
Yep, that's another thing.
you
You're
know,
right.
it's like, well, I mean, like I said, I get it. People gotta, we have this saying that, you gotta pay to play the game. I get it, but
Well,
damn,
not when you're trying to bring people in.
yeah, no, that, I was
I
right here.
totally, get that. Yes, no, you gotta pay to play the game. But when these
That's
guys
all.
have the information, they're like, "Well, we're gonna put it behind the paywall." I get the whole entire statement, play to play the game. But the thing is, if you're trying to build this industry, you need to get people in first.
That's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going.
Uh,
You got you gotta at least teach people like the basics, like to get people, somewhat interested into this. Yeah, it's like fishing. You gotta give us good bait
yeah,
to get in there and get used to what we're actually get a taste of what this actually is. Like, oh, okay, this shit actually is fun. You know, you know, let the first version be free. And then you can start adding things to the number two version number two or something. Draw us in. Let us know what it is. But people's not doing that.
yeah.
you know, you know. people like for the ones talking about crypto gaming, hyping it up, but other channels they don't want to play the games. They don't want to play the games. They might go to their website, post the web, go to their web page and talk about it, but no one's playing the game. There's
Yeah.
no hype there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no, there's definitely people playing the game, but they're not getting the numbers that they can. They would just actually do a better job at explaining themselves.
Hmm.
How to get in, how to get the coin. Like, just do a better job and they'll be fine. But they don't do that.
Right.
So that's kind of the biggest issue. I mean, even with the knowledge I have now that I've been doing this for a couple of years, I still don't have I still don't have a good grasp because you're right. Like to even get into like know how these coins are utilized and to learn it, you gotta pay.
Right.
So there's not even a good way to figure out how the utilization works.
Right. That was a fact, man. Even to this day, I still get confused with with the wallets and trying to find an exchange that I could get these coins and there's all these different exchanges and swaps and all this other stuff. I even though uh, I have a few years of experience, but none of the instructions still don't seem clear to me. You
Hmm.
know,
I
I
mean,
always.
and even I get that the white paper is so freaking long.
Hmm.
Like it's just like we need. I'm not against the white paper, but it's just sometimes it's like you just need a start guide. It's what you need.
Right,
Like
right.
then of course you should definitely have a white paper. I'm never going to say don't
Oh, of
have a
course,
white paper.
you
Like
please have one.
yeah, and I would tell anybody that don't ever go into a coin that doesn't have a white paper. But
Right,
you definitely they need a really good like start guide
right,
so you can kind of actually like know what to do.
right.
Because outside that, all you're going to do is just get a bunch of investors
Hmm.
and nobody really building your ecosystem. That's the problem.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying
Exactly.
that they're not, but I'm just saying like they do a really bad. And again, this is strict. This is especially true when it comes to crypto gaming.
Yeah.
They do like I just think I just think they all do a really bad job. The only one that really seemed like it succeeded because there's some that look like they were coming, but like what's the one when I got into Star Atlas? Star Atlas was one that looked highly promising,
Hmm.
but I mean, it's I don't know if the game is out, and the problem is it gets ships. It's just and I don't mind there being expensive ships, but there's a high price barrier of like
Right,
ships that you really want.
right,
Like they price it way too high on some of these things. And it's like, are you trying to get people in?
right.
And it's just stuff like this. It's just like even I which cause somebody got me into like a little crypto mini game.
Hmm.
And the problem is that once I got into it, I started playing, I couldn't take out the money because the wallet wasn't supported.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, so how do I do like there's so many like things that like there's so many things in crypto that create barriers for you to really dive into it.
Right,
And that's the problem. Is there's just so many barriers and there's none of these people are really trying to fix those issues.
right,
None of these people are actually trying to connect the dots to how can I make it easy for the common person to understand so they could come into my ecosystem, especially with gaming. Gaming is not that hard to do,
exactly.
but it has to make sense to people.
Hmm.
And the problem is like it doesn't make sense because yes, I do think crypto gaming, although it'll probably be going under gambling, but I definitely think there's a future for crypto gaming. But I mean, these people just do a really crap job at explaining what it is.
Hmm.
Like they do. I
Oh
mean,
no, hands down. And it's kind of frustrating, honestly.
yep,
Yeah, and like I said, if you're not part of their paid no Discord channel, then you're kind of out of luck. But even then, everyone's promoting their Discord, but I've joined several free Discords, and it is very underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very underwhelming. So, um, so it's like, damn, I can't even get a sample of people's Discord to see if I actually like it or not.
Yeah, that's the other issue.
You know, how do I know that this Discord has an active community and I'm getting a top prime information? These creators, they don't promote their Discord. They just say, "Oh, go to my Discord and sign up."
Well,
To
no, no,
get
I'll give credit. No, I mean, at least some of the ones I watch, they do. They go in, they promote their Discord, they talk about them, but of course, not going to give you the information. That's what that, like I said, that's what the YouTube channel's for. So I mean, at least when it's YouTubers, they go ahead and give you all this information. But if you really want to know how it works and all the detail, basically, it's basically all the boring stuff. You guys subscribe to their Discord. So no, I would say at least when it comes to the YouTubers on crypto, I think they do a good job. Now, do I know what's in the Discord? No, but I will say that yes, I do think they do a good enough job to get people invested in what they're trying to do. And they also do a good job at marketing themselves and showing like which called this one guy who I listen to, and he always shows like people who's in his Discord this amount of money that they make, and then he'll put it on screen. So I would say at least when it comes to those
that's cool.
guys,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would say at least when it comes to those guys, I think they do a really great job.
Hmm. Gotcha.
But when you talk about the coin itself and the industry, oh no, they do a terrible job.
Right.
They do a terrible job. Like the
Hmm.
marketing isn't there, the promotion isn't there. And I also understand that too. It's like you want to also make sure you get it right because you don't want to be like a really big coin and then there's like a rug pull because then you'll probably go to jail and get incarcerated.
Oh yeah. All
So,
right. Well, I mean, look at these YouTubers that promote those type of coins.
hmm. And I don't always blame them so much. Not
No,
always. Not
I
always.
don't. Well, you got most of those guys. It's just a paid promotion.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
and that's why I think it's kind of I'll at least give them that much credit that it is kind of unfair when they're
Right.
being paid to promote something and then it
Exactly.
crashes and then they gotta take the hits. Like, I don't think that's cause again
No,
when you got
that's bullshit.
yeah,
You know, it's like what you found about honey, right? Yeah,
yes,
you heard about yeah. So,
yeah,
is it the YouTubers who is it their fault that they're promoting what honey did and no one knew about it until someone actually went to did some deep research? It's not like this is something that you can just it's just noticeably that you could just find out, right?
Mhm.
You
Oh,
know,
and trust me, I mean I've been using honey for years. And I ain't gonna
I
lie.
say,
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. Like I was actually able to get enough to pay for something, so I'll give honey that much credit. But yeah, nobody knew.
yeah. I don't blame the content creators for not knowing. You know, now content creators, they do have a little bit of responsibility to do some research, of course, but something like what Honey did, there's no way that the average person is going to figure that out.
Exactly.
So 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 when you see all these people promoting, pretty much rug pull coins. Majority of the time, they don't know nothing about crypto or not. Um, um, now if for if you was actually involved, like deeply involved into this coin, like
Yeah.
what like Logan Paul was doing, like he was actually involved with it, and he was behind the scenes, and he pulled that crap that he pulled.
Yeah.
So he deserved all the criticism, but most of these people they're just glad to have some type of advertisement on their page that's paying them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know. So yeah, and I don't give them. I don't give them. I don't fault them like that. I just look at it as it's a learning lesson for the person who's promoting these crypto coins. A learning lesson, and hopefully they'll do better research on the promotion that they're having on their page. But as a viewer, we're supposed to do our research too before when we start believing what these people are actually
Well,
saying.
okay,
You
nah,
know,
nah, that's I won't say that. That's not necessarily true. Because if you're just trying to get into it, I mean, you're going to them for like you're listening to them to get your research, especially when you're first starting. That comes later when you start learning about crypto.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like when you start, no, you're not gonna know stuff. And so
Mm.
in that sense, like I'm not gonna hold that against you when you're first. I mean, like again, again, when I first got into it, I was just listening to people. I just bought whatever they said. Some was good. Well, I'll be honest with you. I did make some pretty good purchases. I'm not gonna lie,
Hmm.
but I'm not trying to say like honestly. When I really think about it, the only coin I really have, no, by fault. There's a few coins that I bought that got rug pull or fell, but I bought very little of it, like only like the most like $20.
Hmm.
But like the big losses I had wasn't from crypto felling, it's from the basic FTX situation. FTX, Voyager, all those.
I was so pissed off on the waitress.
Yeah. BlockFi. That's where I took my big losses.
Gemini.
No, Gemini is fine. Gemini works.
Nah, uh, I lost some coins on Gemini too.
Oh, really? I didn't even lost a coin in
Uh,
Gemini at all. It's just I had a hard time accessing their app for a while, but I haven't had any
I, I,
issues with
lo-
Gemini.
I lost some coins on Gemini, even though there wasn't really, nothing, no major coins, but no, I lost some coins on it. So I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that at all. So, but it just goes to show, once you buy, you gotta put it on your ledger. Because when you buy and keep it onto the exchange, that's not your coin.
That's the big thing. I mean, okay, I will
Mm,
say this. If you ain't got the money, a hot wallet will do just fine. It's still shaky. Just make sure you have a
hmm.
VPN
Hmm.
and pay attention on where you're going. Like one thing I like to do is like if I want to check out, like for example, I wanted to buy a coin, but I wanted to go to an exchange that was cheaper. I usually go to Coin Market Cap and then click through their links. So I don't get the wrong link,
Right,
and then go through the website that way.
right.
Then like just going in and typing it in because that's where you can make mistakes and that's where you could wind up on a bogus site. So
Hmm.
I usually go through Coin Market Cap.
Hmm. Yeah, nah, yeah, that's the thing. Like you gotta take your coin. The minute you buy, take it off. If you have a hard wallet, take it off the internet, man. Take it off the internet. Um, and if you could have multiple hard wallets, that's even better. Because we're still dealing with technology. It's still pretty much like a hard drive. So, that if your hard wallet crash, you can end up losing it all too. So it's good to have multiple hard wallets.
Well,
Um,
it's good to not have your crypto in one place. It's really what it is.
exactly.
Like I won't say because yeah, hard wallets can get kind of expensive. So okay, these are the things I learned about hard wallets. Okay, well, let me start off with hot wallets. Hot wallets, I would say is fine and it's cool. You still open yourself up to hacking, but it's at least it's something,
Hmm.
and it's better than nothing. I mean, I luckily have not got a hot wallet hacked yet, so I'm
Hmm.
pretty happy about that. Trust me, I got some coins on some hot wallets.
Hmm.
Cold wallets, yes, you want to put all your coins on the cold wallets. The issue with the cold wallet that I have an issue with that I ran into is that sometimes your coins aren't supported. Or like for example, there's
True.
some coins that I actually sent to my
True.
cold wallet and they don't even show up. I just like that money's pretty much gone. Like yeah, I mean I know it's on my wallet, but it doesn't show up on my wallet.
Never happened to me.
Yeah,
Shit.
happened to me. I got
Wow.
some money that I can't even access anymore because it just doesn't show in my wallet at all.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's some things, and then I'm like again ledger. Like so I have a ledger. Well, actually, I have two. I have a ledger. I have another one, but I
Mhm.
would sit there and say you got you gotta be careful with ledger because I know they have a back door. I guess they put
Yeah.
in so. Again, I don't know. I mean, I know people that still because I mean, I would say I definitely did like Ledger until they did what they did,
Right.
but I still have a Ledger wallet. So, and I also got what's called I think it's a Treasure wallet, but and I'll be honest, it does support a lot more than what I thought, but it doesn't support as much. It doesn't support as it doesn't. There's some coins that it doesn't support, but it does support a lot more coins than what I thought. But I think Ledger supports the most. Last I checked.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think so. I got a ledger, and like I said, over the years, you hear some things got kind of funny.
mm,
I also got another wallet. It's not a ledger or something. I just can't remember it. Um, but that wallet was more to store like XRP and stuff on there because I couldn't do it with the ledger at the time.
yeah,
So um, so yeah, you're 100% right. With the cold wallet that it does not support everything.
yeah,
It does not support everything. So you gotta be wary of that. Yeah. Um, there's a, there's a lot of coins that just like I said, they're not on the Coinbase like platforms.
yeah.
So they're kind of hard to get, or it's not easy to understand how to get it. You know, that's another thing. And also, another thing is like they have to buy Ethereum just to take the transfer the coins to another wallet or something like that. Get off the exchange. It's like that. Like crypto.com, that shit sucks, man.
Yeah, yeah, because they have extra fees and stuff.
Let's have some crypto on there because those fees to get it off ain't no joke.
Yep. That's what kept
Yeah.
me. That's what, yep. That's what kept some of my crypto on there. And I'm not happy about it at all.
So,
But I mean, I guess these are the things I guess I've learned over the years.
hmm yeah. So
I don't know.
let me just wait for the market to see where it goes. At
Yeah,
this point,
absolutely.
yeah.
Mm. This is G from the future, and I wanted to leave this disclaimer before we head to the next topic, only because of the subject matter that we're talking about. Just be aware, we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. We are just sharing our own opinion. Heck, if you listen to us, there's a chance you may lose everything. Actually, I'll be honest with you. Even in this episode, there's a couple of things I said that are a little off that I may need to correct in a future video. And not only that, things have changed since the recording of this specific episode. So, once again, we are not financial advisors, and make sure to always do your own research.